The scandal around Nick Fuentes is a very interesting one, because it's not one you might be expecting. Right? A lot of the recent focus was on Piers Morgan interviewing Nick Fuentes. They talked for 2 hours, there was yelling, there was fighting, there were insults, clips galore. There's also been a conversation and debate about something that Piers Morgan and Nick Fuentes actually agree on.
And let's be clear, the main reason you're hearing about him is because he's popular.
I'm making a lot of money now.
Yeah.
Now that I'm the #1 live streamer in America, because people agree with me more than they agree with you. We're tired of hearing about slavery and the Holocaust and Jim Crow. We're done hearing about that.
There, you're starting to see more and more people questioning if that's really true. Or people asking, is Nick Fuentes actually on all these shows, from Tucker Carlson to Piers Morgan, because he's just too popular to ignore? And part of the reason that you're seeing more and more people bring this up is because of this new study from the Network Contagion Research Institute that suggests that the answer is no. In fact, in their opening lines, they say, Nick Fuentes' surge into national visibility did not originate from a broad or sudden shift in American political sentiment. It emerged from a pattern of online amplification that was unusually fast, unusually concentrated, and unusually foreign in origin. And you had the researchers coming to that conclusion by sampling 20 of his most recent posts on X and then comparing them to similar posts from Elon Musk, Hassan Piker, Ian Carroll, and the streamer Destiny. What they say they found is that the engagement within the first 30 minutes of Fuentes posting something routinely outperformed all the others, even accounts 10 to 100 times as large. And then with that, saying that just over 60% of that engagement came from the same repeat accounts, which they said is highly suggestive of coordination or automation. With 92% of those repeat early reposters being fully anonymous, having no real name, no real photo, no location, and no contact information. And with that, they said that a majority were openly or functionally single-purpose accounts dedicated to promoting Fuentes and related extremist positions. Right? And then on top of all that, they said that roughly half of all the accounts that promoted Fuentes' most viral post before the assassination of Charlie Kirk, they came from foreign countries like India, Pakistan, Nigeria, Malaysia, and Indonesia. So all sites of known content engagement farms. And so then they say that after the Kirk assassination, that artificial engagement made Fuentes appear active, relevant, and in position when a replacement narrative became available inside the broader MAGA ecosystem. Or I guess in other words, when Kirk was no longer on the throne, bot farms offered up Fuentes as his natural heir. And so then, as a result, you had mainstream media coverage of Fuentes increasing more than threefold since September. And also, very interestingly, even the way that he was covered, that changed, with him describing so-called high-status descriptions, which portrayed him as vastly more consequential and influential than any material changes would warrant, increasing 60%. Whereas before, according to the study, outlets presented Fuentes in ghoulish, unattractive terms, saying even left liberal ones have adopted markedly more polished visual treatments of it. And those including studio-grade portraits, controlled lighting, shallow depth of field, and editorial framing that visually position Fuentes as a consequential political figure. And so then, when Fuentes gets a chance to speak for himself on these mainstream platforms, he accepts his polished image. And so, for example, on Piers Morgan, he claimed that most of the worst racist, misogynistic, anti-Semitic stuff that we've heard him say on Rumble, that's really all rhetoric, hyperbole, and jokes. So also in that interview on Question After Question, he was pretty unapologetic about things that he said.
You think women want to be raped, do you?
That's what the studies show, Piers.
Blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part.
Yeah.
But you're basically saying, yeah, I'm a racist, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You think Hitler was very fucking cool?
Yes, I do.
One of them.
And I'm tired of pretending he's not.
He murdered 12 million people. What is very fucking cool about that? Tell me.
The edits, it's just cool. The uniforms, the parades, it's cool as a guy. You look at World War II, and it's fascinating, and it's interesting, and it's compelling, and it's cool.
And with all this, a thing that I do want to hit on and clarify is that just because Fuentes maybe became popular artificially, that does not mean that his popularity now is still artificial. Right? Because as the study even notes, after Kirk's assassination, the distribution of accounts that are promoting him, they shifted from those Asian and African ones to Western ones. And in the meantime, Groyper accounts, the name for Fuentes' followers, they began raiding the comment sections of Turning Point USA's content. All of which, according to the report, suggests that non-Western bot farms gave Fuentes the initial boost that he needed, and then genuine Western engagement followed suit. And all of this has continued to snowball to a place where really it seems like Nick Fuentes is trying to conquer the Republican Party. Which I will say, I mean, my personal opinion is he could do it. Especially because even probably to his own detriment, he is singularly focused.
Have you ever had sex?
No, absolutely not.
Wow. Have you ever been in love in your life?
No.
You're not gay?
No. But I will say that women are very difficult to be around.